Hello. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to learn a little bit more about OraCare's newest family member, which is OraPro, our toothpaste. We're super excited that this has come to market. We can't wait for you guys to try it in your practice, but I also understand you need a little bit of information before you can move forward. And that's what I'm hoping to give you here on this short little video. My name is Kristen Sheridan. I'm the Chief Clinical Officer at OraCare, but I'm also a practicing dental hygienist. I've utilized both the OraCare and the OraPro with patients. So you guys can reach out to me after this little training and call me, text me, whatever you need if you have questions. I'm happy to answer those for you. But whenever we were developing this toothpaste, right, we wanted it to be aligned with OraCare. And with OraCare, it's not like the mouth rinse that you can find at the store, right? That's why you guys carry it in office, you resell it to your patients. It's different than what they can buy at Walmart or Walgreens. We wanted the toothpaste to be the exact same way. We didn't want to just create another toothpaste that was like anything else. We needed it to be different. So we started the evaluation process in reverse, right? What are we looking for in regards to better toothpaste? And really, if you start looking at the conversation now in dentistry, everything is about biofilm. Whereas it used to really be focused on just singular bacteria and the types of bacteria that contribute to disease. Though that's still a part of the conversation, I think we've realized that a single bacteria really isn't that difficult to remove. But once it becomes part of this biofilm, it's very, very difficult. And there are four major factors that make it difficult. A, the matrix. The matrix is what protects the bacteria within the biofilm, right? It's a sticky covering that essentially A, holds it all together, but also shields it from the immune system or therapeutic agents that you might use. It's very difficult to disrupt. Typically, the method of disruption is brushing and flossing. But you can actually break it up, but it actually creates scaffolding floating around the mouth, and those colonizing bacteria that start the biofilm growth will pull those pieces in to help rebuild a colony of biofilm in an area that doesn't get disrupted with brushing and flossing. So interproximally at the gum line on the lingual side of the teeth, that quick regrowth actually only takes 2 or 3 days for this to happen, for it to be mature enough for it to really start causing issues. Now, it's also physically sticky. I think we know that, right? It feels like fuzziness on our teeth, but a lot of people think that you can just simply brush it away and it's gone. You can break it up that way, but it is more difficult. That's why biofilm eventually matures into calculus, right? And it traps all those toxins beneath the gums. It kind of holds the bacteria to the gum line and it's digging deeper essentially at that point, and it's increasing its resistance. There's more pathogenic bacteria in there that's causing more issues. It's much more complicated to disrupt. Usually they only get it removed about twice a year. So we have a very important factor of we need to do a better job at helping our patients remove biofilm. Because if, in my opinion, I should say, if what patients were doing at home was working currently, we wouldn't see disease rates this high. Almost 50% of adults at the age of 30 have some form of gum disease. When they get older, it's about 70%, excuse me. And cavities are still one of the most chronic diseases in children and adults. About 91% of adults have had a cavity in their lifetime. So if what we were doing was working really well, or what the patient was doing working really well, I don't think we would see disease rates this high. I think now more importantly is we realize is how the mouth is connected to the rest of the body, right? All of us know this. We know that the biofilm harbors systemic risks for things like Alzheimer's, heart disease, liver disease, pancreatic cancer, colon cancer. They're finding things like P. gingivalis in the brain. They're finding different types of bacteria that come from the biofilm in the mouth and build up in different areas of the body. So we have to do a better job at helping our patients disrupt this. And that's about better tools and strategies, right? Because about 70% of patients will tell you that they brush their teeth twice a day. And I really do think that a lot of people are trying to brush. Flossing, That's a whole other argument. I don't know how often that really happens. But if you have 70% of patients who are telling you that they are brushing their teeth, if you look at the studies, you will only find about 20% of patients achieve low plaque scores. Now, I think for us in dentistry, that's not a shock, right? But those patients out there really think that they're doing something. But for the average American adult, the time frame in which they brush is only about 33 seconds. So if that's the only window of time that we get, I think it's a good idea to provide a better product to these patients that does a little bit more in that 33 seconds than the products that they have currently available to them. So OraPro was developed to be better at biofilm reduction, has increased fluoride absorption, and you're going to get better whitening without increased abrasion. Now, looking at the difference between your standard over-the-counter toothpaste and OraPro, I think this is the best way to show it. These are obviously microscopic images of the toothpaste. Most toothpastes are essentially small abrasive agents that are in a paste type form. What's really disrupting the biofilm, though, is not the toothpaste as much as it is the toothbrush itself. So these small abrasive agents are not really as effective as we want them to be. Once they are mixed with saliva and water, they kind of become an ineffective slurry. We don't get the response that we really are looking for. That's why we chose a different path. We utilize micro netting technology. Now, a lot of people think this is going to be plastic. It's not. It's a natural fiber derived from a tree. So it's biodegradable. It's going to break down naturally. It's not anything that you have to worry about in those regards. But you can see the differences between here. Now, when this mixes with saliva and water, this little fiber network actually kind of stretches out like a net. It physically engages with the plaque and pulls it off of the teeth. So this is after someone has used the toothpaste. You can see the biofilm trapped in that netting in that lower picture there. And this is something that can help those patients who aren't great at brushing, who aren't great at flossing. It's going to help get into some of those areas that they aren't reaching. And it's going to pull more biofilm off, which is the ultimate goal. I really like this little study, which the left side was done in a lab. On the right side with the statistics that you're seeing, that was actually from a human study. But what I like about this picture is the lab study that was done, it takes the toothbrush out of it, right? So these are discs with biofilm grown on them. And what they've done is they've diluted the toothpaste down by about 50% and flowed them at the same rate over each of the discs. You can see even after only 10 seconds what a great biofilm reduction you get. So when you think about that patient who's only brushing for 33 seconds, you can get a better response in that shorter period of time. Ideally, they're brushing for 2 minutes, right? I'm not saying brush less. I'm just saying you can give them something that's going to provide a better outcome in a shorter period of time. So if they happen to make it closer to that 2 minute mark, you are going to maintain these results longer. Now, in the human study, you have about 359% overall improvement in plaque reduction in comparison to your regular over-the-counter toothpaste, even interproximally, because when it's under the forces of brushing, the fibers are forced interproximally. So it's trapping some of that plaque in there as well. So if your patient is not the best brusher, not the best flosser, OraPro is an awesome product to use for them. You do get increased fluoride absorption with this. OraPro contains about 1,500 parts per million of fluoride, whereas if you compare it to what's over the counter, most of them contain somewhere between 1,000 and 1,100 parts per million. But it's not just the higher fluoride offered in this, it is the actual exposure of the enamel surface that allows more fluoride to absorb. It's just like when you do a professional cleaning in the office and you're applying a fluoride application at the end. The reason we do that is because the tooth structure is the cleanest that it's been in probably quite some time, right? So it's the best time to get the most fluoride absorption because this provides a better clean. You get 209% better fluoride absorption in comparison to what's available over the counter. It's more comparable to the rates that you see with a ClinPro or a Prevident, which utilizes 5,000 parts per million. This is only 1,500, so less fluoride exposure, but a higher fluoride absorption. Now, as far as whitening goes, this will help maintain a whitened smile. It's more of natural whitening. There's no hydrogen peroxide in this that you're gonna go up a couple of shades or anything like that. So I always explain to patients that you will need to do some sort of whitening, professional whitening option in order to get the additional shades, but this is going to remove surface stains, just like any other whitening toothpaste. Most of them contain very abrasive agents to help remove surface stains. Well, the RDA value of this is only 88 in comparison to those other whitening toothpastes that are well over 100. Most of them are around the 155 mark. So this is something that's about half the level of abrasiveness, so it's a little bit safer for them to be using every single day. And they're going to they'll notice some whitening with it, but it's not going to be major. So this is something that you could use to help maintain a whitened smile. Those are all the big highlights. The toothpaste is such an easy conversation in offices. I'll tell you from my own experience, every single patient is always looking for a better option. And when you're educating them and saying, hey, your gums are bleeding, you have a lot of buildup on your teeth, let's get you something to help with that, the OraPro is an easy conversation. Whereas with OraCare, it's going to be awesome. I want them to use it in conjunction with the OraPro. Ideally, they're used together, right? But I find that patients, all of them use toothpaste, whereas with a mouthwash, not everybody does. So it's a much easier recommendation. Now, as far as pricing for this, it is sold by the case. And if you want pricing information, we can certainly email that to you. Just reach out to us. But it is $180 for a case of 12. That's roughly $15 per tube. And we recommend that you resell that between $20 and $25. But just like OraCare, that price setting is completely up to you. So you guys choose the price point that you want this at. Some offices are selling it for a little bit higher as well. So this is something that is exclusively sold in the dental practice, just like OraCare. This is not something that they can find at Walmart or at Walgreens or something like that. This is a professional strength toothpaste. So very similar and aligned with our OraCare product as well. You can use these in conjunction with each other. It's an awesome duo. So thank you guys so much for taking a little bit of time. Hopefully this answers a lot of your questions. If there's anything you feel like you want to know more about, feel free to reach out to me, or you can visit the OraPro website or OraCare Products website and go to the OraPro page. And if you're ready to order, you can also just place your order as you would with your OraCare, or again, give us a call.